Okay, Brine Babes. So we just read A Court of Frost and Starlight.
The novella, the little cozy one between ACOWAR and Silver Flames.
And I have feelings about it.
Good feelings or
Complicated feelings because it's like a 200-page Christmas special.
it is. It's like a Hallmark inner circle winter solstice, which I love winter solstice. I celebrate it every year. So it kind of makes all the warm and fuzzies.
Right. I mean, there's gift shopping, holiday traditions, Elaine's trauma or healing from it while Nesta's spiraling, Cassian pining, Feyre's birthday. There's a lot that kind of happens in just 200 pages without a ton happening.
Right. Well, yeah. Feyre and Rhys are being domestic and adorable. And then tampon.
Yeah, showing up for one scene kind of ruined the effect.
It was a hurtful scene, though.
Well, really, it was two scenes, and he just looked pitiful in both. It was not good.
He's broken.
I mean, and I know Rhys was like, I feel bad for being mean, but he kind of had it coming.
More to discuss.
I know everyone feels like this book is a filler, but it's also important for character development because it sets you up for some of the stuff that we're going to go through in Silver Flame. Actually, a lot of the big stuff that we deal with in Silver Flame is set up in this book.
Well, it gives you backstory too, that and it makes it devastating for that reason. It can be cozy, but devastating.
Right, like a palate cleanser with the emotional damage.
That we sign up for with Sarah J. Massey every time. So let's break it down.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Pickle Party, where a menacee gets a little naughty. Join the brine, it's book club time. Tropes and memes and feeling oh my.
Welcome back, Brine Babes. Today we're discussing A Court of Frost and Starlight, this novella between ACOWAR and Silver Flames.
Yes, this is shortly after the war with Hybern ended, a few months or so, and everyone's just trying to recover, rebuild, and kind of pretend that they're okay, even though a lot of them aren't.
And it's Winter Solstice, one of my favorites. I celebrate Winter Solstice myself each year, so that's why I kind of love this book because it's going from the darkness to the light. And I kind of feel like the book does that. It's this little coziness of everybody's been in the dark because the end of the war, and then we're going towards the light.
It's definitely a bridge for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, just with the celebrations that are happening, Moore is like a giant child at Christmas, which is really funny, but she's also the world's worst gift giver. So she is a child at Christmas.
Yes.
Because, like, think about one of my favorite things to do at Christmas is send the boys with money to the school holiday store and let them pick out gifts for us.
Hmm.
And I mean, the gifts, they're holiday stores, so you can spend anywhere from like $1 to 20 at the most or something on a present,
Hmm.
maybe 10 at the most. Like it's not a lot, but I'll send them with like $40 each and give them like a certain amount that they can spend on the list of people that are going to be in our house on Christmas morning. And the things they get are freaking hysterical.
So we kind of do the same thing. And so I love that you do that because it's ours is the same, but it's with Dollar Tree. We go to Dollar Tree
Oh,
and
that's adorable.
everybody gets a gift and they get their own wrapping paper. So we know whose it's from. And then we come home and we secretly wrap gifts. I've gotten some of my best wine glasses from my boys.
I love that. I love that they see wine glasses and they're like, Mom.
That or a mason jar. It's fine. I'll take either.
Yeah, I know. Y'all, when Leslie came to visit us a few months ago, I have some beautiful, lovely wine glasses that Brandy keeps at my house because I don't actually have wine glasses, and she got tired of drinking out of my what I called wine glasses. And so she brought a couple over to leave at my house, and Leslie came over with her husband and they brought a bottle of wine. I turn around and hand them wine glasses, and Leslie asks if I have a mason jar instead. Because apparently you can move the girl out of Alabama, but you'll never take the Alabama out of the girl.
It's conducive with my hand gestures.
That is ridiculous that you had to find a glass for your wine that will work with your gestures because they're that sporadic.
Listen, in our house, we have jelly jars and we wash out the jelly jars and use them as glasses. So that's wine glasses sometimes too.
That's amazing. That is 100% such a country thing to do. I love it. It really is. It really is.
All right, so we're going to go through each character and kind of break it down, and then we're going to talk about everything that happens. So stick with us, guys. But Feyre, she's trying to be High Lady right now. She's planning the Winter Solstice. I do have to say, I like seeing her kind of step into her duties even more, in which she did that in ACOWAR, but it's like she's really trying to take a load off of Rhys and really be this High Lady rather than
Right.
just somebody hanging out.
It talks a lot about like how their room is overcrowded with all the paperwork and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like it talks a lot about her administrative duties as a high lady. And I guess in a world like this, you wouldn't think about the administrative side of that, but leave it to Sarah J. Massey Moss to keep it real. And there are like correspondence they have to keep up with and
Mm-hmm.
important things they have to do that Rhys takes a lot of pride in doing himself and not giving to somebody else to do. He takes a lot of pride in taking care of his people. And Feyre kind of feeds off that. And that's another thing she does in this book is the eyes in her palms. She
Mm-hmm.
asks him to change them from eyes to the insignia of Velaris
Mm-hmm.
and the Night Court so that she basically fully commits herself to the Night Court.
Right. And then her even talking about getting an assistant, that was almost hilarious because there was so much to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. She has a lot on her plate. And she's also trying to still figure out how to truly celebrate winter solstice. She is coming from a time when she really couldn't afford to even barely feed herself to coming into a group of people that she considers her family, and they are extremely extravagant during this time of year. Lots of gifts given, apparently a lot of bad ones from Moore,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, it's just an over the top celebration. I mean, again, longest night of the year. This is the night court. Of course, it's going to be a really big celebration
It is.
in in this area.
And I think it's kind of her joy to be able to be like this little event planner almost,
Mhm.
and get everybody together for the warm and fuzzies because she's worried about her sisters. She wants to do something. And I mean, what do you do when you're worried about somebody? You try to get together and have a good time and laugh.
Right.
And then she's also trying to figure out, what is she going to do when it comes to her painting? Because she wants to paint, but I don't think she's emotionally there till later on in the book.
Right. It hits her at a funny time. She is, in town and it's a slow burn for a 200-page book. It's not
Mhm.
something that happens in one chapter. It slowly starts. At the beginning of the book, she's walking around town in the art district. She's sad. She's thinking about the horrors that happened when Highburn attacked several months before and how he really hit this specific part of town hard. And it was a part of the area that she loved because it's the art district.
Mhm.
And she was walking the streets and looking, and she noticed a burnout building, a kind of a building that was boarded up that had clearly been, in the attack. And she ends up speaking with another local artist who has a studio. And she explains to her that the person who owned that studio, Polina, died in the attack from Highburn. She was going to join Racina in her studio for an art night, like a weekly art night she hosts, where
Mhm.
people just go in and paint and kind of chill. It's almost like, those paint and sips and stuff that people do
Right.
now. I think that's kind of what I took it as, almost like a paint and sip and snack and that kind of thing. And she gets out the door, she sees them having fun, and that guilt hits her, and she's like, I can't do this. But she still really wants to kind of express herself through her art. So she ends up winnowing into the abandoned art studio
Mhm.
that she had seen earlier that week. And it kind of becomes her secret place to paint for a while. It's quiet, there's solitude, and she kind of rediscovers her love of art while using it as a form of therapy.
Well, and I feel like she has to hide it because she wants everybody else happy, and since they're not happy, she can't be happy herself.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a guilt there, I think. And here's the thing, Elain, I wouldn't say she's unhappy. Elaine's actually thriving.
She's baking and
She's
gardening
baking,
and
she's shopping, she's gardening, and she's helping families who were affected from the attacks from Highburn. She's helping them reestablish their gardens.
Right.
Like she's doing a lot of philanthropic work and she's thriving. And she's developed a really awesome bond with Carradine and Nuella, the Wraiths. Like they have started to develop an awesome little friendship. They've become a huge, just like painting for Feyre, I think baking and gardening is Elain's release.
I think Elain could start her own little bake shop with Carradine and Nuella. That would be so
I'm
cute.
sure she could. I'm sure she could. But she even shops for them at one point. She and Feyre go shopping and she buys them. That's when they're at the Weaver's place. She buys them some blankets from the Weaver. And Feyre happens to notice this beautiful piece of fabric and tapestry that the Weaver had done. And it was this amazing type of fabric she'd never seen before. And it was literally a product of the Weaver's grief. And Feyre was so moved. And one of the things the Weaver says, and this is really important for Feyre's storyline, she talks about her grief over losing her husband and how they had been together for 300 years and they thought they had forever. So they didn't want to have kids right away.
Right.
And now she has nothing of him. And she wished if she could go back, she would have at least had a child with him so she could have carried that. But now she has nothing.
Yeah.
And Feyre and Rhys were on the same page. Let's wait a couple thousand years. Let's wait a while. Let's have kids. Let's really focus on our people and kind of getting you into the role and getting used to being Fae and all that. And Feyre realizes tomorrow is never promised and she doesn't want to wait anymore. She doesn't want to wait. At the ripe old age of 21, Feyre says, I want to have a baby.
Well, her birthday is on Winter Solstice, so it
is.
Boom.
It is. And so that's a really important part of Feyre's journey. And so, I mean, while we're talking about Feyre, she's worried about her sisters, like we said. And while we said Elain is thriving and we're seeing her start to glow, she's filling out, she's all these things that worried everybody. She's not really having visions anymore. So she's not saying things that are unsettling. She's just really coming into her own and she's starting to become part of the family.
Right.
On the other hand, Nesta has sunk deeper and deeper and deeper into grief. Nesta has also moved out of the townhouse, whereas Elain is staying in the townhouse. Nesta has decided not just to get her own apartment, because keeping in mind, Feyre and Rhys are paying for everything.
Right.
She could be staying in a nice, luxurious apartment. She has actually her choice of any luxurious accommodation she wants. And she insists on staying in the slum, like the one slum lord building in Velaris. She has found and she is staying at. And she is starting to frequent the bars more.
Yeah. She's sleeping around. She's avoiding everyone drinking.
And she's sleeping around.
And she's mad at everyone. And I don't even think I think it's more of her grief that's coming out as anger. And it's not that she really is mad at everyone. She doesn't know what's processing going on inside of her. And she hates
She's
herself.
angry at herself.
Yeah. She hates
doesn't
herself,
want to
hates
forgive
her
herself.
power, hates that, Papa Archeron's dead now and can't deal with that. And so her way is just to push everybody away. And if it's almost like Rhys, where Rhys made everyone hate him for so long that it protected himself. That's what she's doing. But she's
100%.
She's doing it more in a destructive way because Rhys wasn't drinking and all of that. But
yeah, no, she is on a very self-destructive path. I mean, obviously we've discussed, we don't have to worry about Fae STD because apparently that's not a thing.
No, or a healer is just specifically for that.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out. So that doesn't seem to be dangerous. Whereas in a normal real day society, sleeping around is extremely dangerous, especially if you're not using protection.
Right.
And she's also drinking herself into oblivion every night. She's drinking like a fish, and what original strength she possessed as a fae is kind of, even the fae can get flabby and lazy, and she's become weak and can't utilize half her power that she should naturally have as a fae because all she does is drink, sleep, and fuck.
And she won't train at all.
And she won't eat.
Yep.
She won't eat. She's dick thin.
I see Amren's part because Amren will totally vouch for her this book that, she's going through it, give her time, give her space, so forth. But you want to be like, there's people that love you and care about you and they're right here.
Right.
Like, give them a chance.
Like Feyre finds out, she goes to visit Amarin at one point in the book, and she finds out that she can't get, I mean, Nesta won't even talk to Elain at this
Mhm.
point. Nesta is beginning to resent Elain because she sees Elain moving on and fitting in so easily with everybody. She resents how easily Elain is fitting in with everybody, and how now that Elain has, I guess, worked through her trauma, she is starting to adjust to the Fey world. And there's a resentment there
Of course.
from Nesta. Feyre wants to fix it.
Mhm.
And so she goes to see Nesta and invite her to the solstice, because even like I said, Nesta's not even really responding to Elain, and Elaine's not one to push either. So when Nesta says, "Hey, I don't want to come," Elaine's like, "Okay, but it would mean a lot if you did." And
Right.
Feyre's going to stay and push a little bit more. Like, "Okay, this is stupid. You should visit. You know, like
Right.
we want you there." And so Feyre goes to find Nesta to invite her to solstice, and it is not a great exchange. There is a lot of resentment. Not Nesta's best. She acts very entitled
Mhm.
and very rude to Feyre. And as Feyre gets up to leave after she says, "I refuse to come to Solstice," she has the audacity. And this, I don't remember if this pissed me off so much the first time I read it, but it sure as shit pissed me off this time. She has the audacity to be like, "Don't forget my rent money's due."
Yeah, like she's gonna forget that.
And Feyre turns around and is like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "The rent you pay, the money is due. I need the money." And Feyre goes, "Okay, you want the money? Come to Solstice,"
Mhm.
and leaves. So it kind of makes me laugh that Nesta has the audacity
Mhm.
to demand to still be taken care of, because that's what she's so angry with. She's
Yeah.
angry about Papa Archer on, yes, but she also feels guilty about all the years she wasn't there to take care of her baby sister,
Right.
and how her baby sister was the one who pretty much took care of her. And
Right.
there's a clear guilt there.
Mhm.
And
I-
instead of just apologizing and trying to make up for it, she just insists on keeping that relate. I don't quite understand it. It's a very complex part of Nesta and her character. Like,
I
she
think
doesn't handle guilt well.
no, she doesn't. And I kind of think she's just hoping that she'll pass away soon enough and they won't have to deal with that. Like she'll drink herself to death.
Yeah, no, she's definitely on that path. Okay, real talk. What if your morning coffee actually did something for you beyond just keeping you alive?
That's exactly why we're obsessed with Jobby Coffee. They make protein coffee, so you're hitting the protein goals before you've even put on real pants.
If you're an iced coffee girly, grab their protein coffees. Hot coffee, more your thing. Their protein creamer drops right in, and the flavor's absolutely delicious.
The link is right below this episode. Click it and use our code for 15% off. Go get
Go
your
get your protein.
babes. Just click the link below.
Just do the link.
So I don't think she's looking at present at this point. She's looking at I'm hoping to be dead in the next few weeks. So who cares if you come to my funeral or not?
Right.
Let me burn
Right.
all these bridges and then no one will care that I disappear.
And what it's coming down to is she doesn't feel like she's worth being, like, doesn't feel like she's worth loving.
Right.
And instead of softening and apologizing to people who are very willing to accept said apology, she just sharpens her edge. So I think the biggest setup with Nesta going into Silver Flame is to know that she is not okay.
Right.
Everybody is aware that she is not okay.
Yeah.
And they're all, at this point, their hope is that because Nesta is so ferociously vicious and independent, their idea is that Nesta just needs to work this out on her own.
I think they see that she needs help, but they don't know how to get through to her.
And at this point, she's starting to slip, and
Yeah.
they're starting to really worry, and they don't know what to do. I think
Yeah.
they thought maybe Winter Solstice would be a good opportunity to show her that life is still worth living.
have an intervention in a way.
Yeah, and she comes, she shows, she sits quietly in the corner. Elain gives her a present of books,
Yeah.
and Cassian has a gift for her too.
Mhm.
But he waits to give it to her in private, and then that falls short,
Right.
so to speak. I think that, they say people who are going through a hard time, Christmas is the hardest for them. And I think this is Nesta to a T. This is supposed to be a happy time, and she feels guilty because she's supposed to be happy and she's not.
Mhm.
And then she resents the people who are happy because why aren't you as miserable as I am? How can you be okay? It's very reminiscent to how Feyre was feeling at the beginning of Mist and Fury.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent to how she was feeling at the beginning of that when she was suffering and nobody was listening. Well, at this point, Nesta's suffering and everyone wants to listen and she doesn't want to talk.
Right. Which, I mean, that's just showing how people deal with grief differently and trauma differently.
For sure. But it's also setting her up for a big journey.
Yes.
To find herself and happiness again and forgiveness, to forgive herself. It's a big journey. And she still pisses off a lot of people on the way. And
by the end of this book, you are just so over her, frustrated with her.
Yeah.
To where
just the way she's treating Cassian.
Silver Flame. Yeah.
Yeah. You know that she's got to have a redemption arc coming. And again, like I said before about Nesta, when it comes time to do what's right, she'll do what's right.
Mm-hmm.
She just might not be pleasant about it. And that's where you know she does deserve that redemption arc. Because with Tamlin, he just doesn't always necessarily make the right choices. And he just keeps making bad ones. And then blames everybody else for his bad decisions.
Right.
It's annoying. So there's that. Let's talk some Rhys. He's in the midst of his High Lord duties. He is desperate to get Feyre not only the perfect solstice gift, but also the perfect birthday present. And he's at a complete loss, for which Morgan gives him hell.
But I think he's putting too much pressure on himself that it has to be perfect. I think Feyre would be happy if you wrapped up a paintbrush and handed it to her.
Exactly. Feyre is not a gift person. She is not a gift person at all. I think she's more of a quality time type person. But he's got a lot of the High Lord stuff to deal with on top of having major present giving anxiety.
Yeah.
He's got to deal with Tamlin and find out what's going on with Tamlin.
And his court.
Mostly what he needs to know is what's going on with the Spring Court, because there have been a lot of complaints about attacks along the line where the humans live. And what's going on with their borders, what's going through, Tamlin says, look, bro, I don't have centaurs. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you see a soldier here?
Yeah.
And so Rhys says, let me talk to the Summer Court. Maybe they can spare some people. Well, Summer Court was a longtime ally of Spring Court. Now they don't like each other. Why?
Right.
Because fucking Tamlin invited Hybern in, and he had that huge attack on the Adriata.
Well, I mean, and this is where his selfish decisions come in. Like, I do feel bad for him in this book, like that he's having to, his court's falling apart. He has nobody that cares about him. Even Ianthe's dead at this point, so there's not even the priestess bitch to hang out with. And Lucian's, I guess, around there somewhere, but he's not hanging out with him.
Oh no, he's done with Lucian. He sent Lucian all of Lucian's stuff.
But he still checks in on
Lucian got
him.
Himself an apartment, and Tamlin sent all of Lucian's stuff to Velaris.
Yes.
So he's pretty, which hurt Lucian.
Yes.
It hurt Lucian's feelings, but Lucian also understood.
Yeah.
But he still goes to check on him.
Yeah.
Because Lucian's not a horrible person.
Because his dad's Helion and not Baron. But anyway.
Yeah.
He learned how to be decent.
If Lucian's father was Baron, he'd be Eris. So,
so I know Rhys kind of feels bad about what's happening to Tamlin because, Feyre started it and completely cracked his court in a way.
Right. There's some guilt there. But he even says, I can't not think of what he put her through after Under the Mountain.
Yeah.
He is always going to hate Tamlin because Tamlin hurt the people he loves the most. He locked Feyre up. He tortured her basically by just suffocating her.
Yeah.
He freaking let Hybern in, which ultimately led to what happened to the sisters. There's just a lot of things that Tamlin has done that has affected the people that Rhys loves. Oh, let's not forget the murders of his mother and sister.
Yeah.
So at this point, Rhys is just he's I'm done with Tamlin, but he's still a High Lord, and I still have to be diplomatic with him.
Right.
If I ever get the chance to, and I am justified in doing it, I will rip his goddamn neck off. Well, but until then,
he's trying to
do what I gotta do.
Breadcrumbs of hey, Summer Court, can they help him? And anybody want to help Tamlin at this point?
Right. And he has to sweetheart talk Tarquin was look, we gotta have some centaurs, we gotta have some people protecting. So Summer Court, because again, Tarquin, not an asshole,
No.
sends in some of his centaurs to protect the humans in that area. So, I mean, there's a lot that Rhys is working on. And then on top of that, he's also got the Illyrians. The
Yeah.
Illyrian camps are starting to uprise.
So, and he's trying to like pull that back together.
Yeah, he's kind of using Cassian as a midway for that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of the Illyrians, even though Cassian is the most powerful fucking Illyrian next to Az
Right.
and Rhys, he still gets absolutely no respect. He's like the little Rodney Dangerfield of the Illyrians. He gets no respect. My dad was a huge Rodney Dangerfield fan. I was raised on Rodney Dangerfield. Not an appropriate actor to be raised on, but I was 100% raised on Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, I don't think we got raised with necessarily appropriate movies growing up.
No.
Like the PG-13, the PG-13 now is not the same PG-13.
No. Not at all. Like, there's a lot of things I will watch now, and I'm like, oh. It's like when you see those memes of the music and stuff, when you're like listening to your kids' music now, and you're like, oh, that's not appropriate. And then you think back, you're like, oh. Oh, dear. I sang that in front of my mom. You didn't say anything to me about it?
Oh.
Go into Cass.
He's training Illyrians. He's worried about Nesta because he loves Nesta, even though it's like, it's plainly obvious to everybody reading, but not to her at this point.
Well, he does a really good job of keeping it cool when she's around.
Yeah.
He is really great about not acting like she's in the room. He plays it cool until he just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
There's a scene, it's at Winter Solstice, when Nesta goes to leave. Feyre hands her check and says, as promised, and Nesta takes it. And Cassian ends up, he just can't help it anymore. He literally moves Feyre out of the way and follows Nesta out the door and is like, let me walk you. And the whole exchange is just Nesta being absolutely horrible to him. And him being like, why, how long are you going to punish everybody? Like, because you're not okay. How long are you going to do this? How long are you going to push everybody away? Why are we going to act like you didn't do what you did with Hybern? Like, why are we going to pretend this didn't happen?
Yeah.
And he doesn't full out give her his feelings because as big and macho and tough as Cassian is, I think he's probably the most sensitive.
Oh, he's a giant teddy bear.
And her rejection would just be too much for him. And for him, she's his mate. You basically find out in Silver Flame, he made it to her when she was a human, basically. And he may even say it, actually. I think he says it. Maybe it's Silver Flame. I can't remember. But he makes a comment about how he's been in love with her since she nailed him in the balls.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's like, you know what? I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I love the quiet devotion trope. Like, I love when he is just so quietly devoted to her. And we'll talk about that more with the Wallflowers, because that's one of the tropes in one of the books. There's something about the quiet devotion.
Yeah.
And just standing beside them no matter what. That, to me, is just so symbolic of what true love is. And he shows that with Nesta.
Yeah.
He hasn't touched another person since he's met Nesta. And he really does try to show her every which way that he can how he feels about her. And she just, I don't know if she just refuses to see it or if she can't see it because she doesn't understand how anybody could feel that way about her.
I think it's more of like she can't see it because she doesn't feel like anybody can see that about her. Like she doesn't feel worthy as a person, so why would anybody else see that?
Right. And I saw a TikTok today that said something like, if you aren't at least one of the loves of your life, what are you doing? Like if you don't order your favorite cup of coffee every once in a while for yourself, if you're not buying yourself that beautiful bouquet of flowers, like love yourself. Not more than anything, but love yourself as much as you would love your spouse or your children, because that's equally important.
Well, like one of my favorite episodes on Parks and Rec is the Treat Yourself episode.
Who doesn't love that episode?
Because
I love that show.
Sometimes
but that
you
episode
have to.
is iconic. You do. Treat yourself. I love that episode.
Find leather goods. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. I freaking love Donna. I love Donna. She is literally one of my favorite characters on that show. She cracks me up.
She could talk
love
about
her.
some romantasy with us.
Yes, she would 100% be on this podcast if we knew Donna. Yes, I love that actress. She is hysterical.
So
But
if you hear our podcast and you would like to talk romantasy. I know your character did. I don't know if you do personally, but come see us.
Yeah, just her timing on that show. She was perfect for that role. And I feel like she was one of those roles that wasn't supposed to be that big of a role. But then as the show went on, she
Mhm.
became a bigger part. And I know that was what happened with Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt wasn't supposed to be on past season one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, after Anne dumped him at the end of season one, they were
Mhm.
supposed to cut him out. But like halfway through season one, they were like, we love Andy. Like, I know
Yeah.
he's a doofus, but you love Andy. And so they kept him on as a
Yeah.
regular cast member. And come on, the rest is history. It made Chris's Pratt's career.
Yeah.
Who didn't love Andy?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, horrible boyfriend for April, but
For Anne.
perfect for April, horrible for Anne.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that show. But yeah, so that's what Nesta needs to do. She has to learn to forgive herself, find a way to love herself again before she'll ever let anybody do that for her.
Mhm.
And that's so important, really,
It
for anybody.
it is. That's great advice. And that, I
But
mean,
with
I think that's what Cassian wants to do for her, is to
Well,
treat
and that
her
is what
and
Cassian wants to do. And Cassian and Rhys are such little feminists, and I love it because Cassian's big problem also with the Illyrians isn't just the uprisings that are happening,
Mhm.
but he's fighting for women's rights among
Yeah.
the Illyrian camps. He's
Right.
fighting to give these women a fighting chance. His mother was basically worked to death
Yeah.
and barely afforded a chance at life after he was born. And he refused to see that or have that happen to any other woman. So he is fighting so that the Illyrian women can learn how to fight.
Mhm.
And he has outlawed clipping, which is basically like a human equivalent in my eyes of like female castration.
Right.
Clip their wings and you can't let them fly. And that's so traumatic.
Mhm.
He's just such a fighter for his people. And these are people who reject him regularly. And that's something they talk about a lot in this book that I don't think I caught
Mhm.
the first time around.
Right.
And it's, bless him, he's so proud to be Illyrian, but he hates so much of what they stand for. And they hate him. But he has, I don't know if it's just this natural genetic thing. He's got like this urge to be loyal to the Illyrians, though. And it's not even one Az has.
Mhm.
Az is like, fuck them. You saw what my brothers did to me.
Right.
Fuck those guys. Az doesn't care. But like the full Illyrian, I mean, Cass is the only full Illyrian out of the three.
Cass, I feel like he's like an amazing politician. Like he wants the good to happen. And so he feels like if he continues to strive for that good and train and push and let people see his perspective, that it'll eventually change people's minds.
So I think he has the potential to be a good politician, but he's too much brute. Rhys is the politician, and that's why he's High Lord. Because Rhys, like in the beginning of the book, when you get in, I think it's Rhys's first chapter from his point of view, it literally starts with him having to basically pull Cassian away from killing Devlin,
True.
the general at one of the Illyrian camps, and because he's fighting with Devlin about why aren't the women are supposed to be practicing? Well, they do their chores first. No, practice, then chores, and the men can help. And like it just makes you love Cassian even more.
Yeah.
And Rhys ends up stepping in and, he compromises and he handles the situation great. But Cassian, it took him a long time to get there.
Yeah.
But Cassian will eventually lose his temper and will eventually just Cassian on someone. So I think it's probably best that Rhys steps in when he does.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Az can kind of hold him back sometimes too.
They're the only two people, them and Nesta.
Yeah.
And on a total squirrel side note, I am maybe 20 chapters into the third Crescent City book, and there's already been a scene where Nesta has to use the mask, and the only way that Az can talk her into taking it off is bringing up baby Nyx.
Oh, I know. I love that scene.
Like when he says Cassian's waiting on you, she kind of stops and looks at him and starts thinking about it, but he goes, and baby Nyx. And that's when she finally, like, her nephew. I was like, oh, definitely. I get it. I freaking live for my nephews, so I get it.
Speaking of Az, he's working on he's working on his spy master duties, and he's quiet as usual. And always, we don't know who he's pining for.
No, they're kind of vague about it, but there's a scene where Elain gives him a gift.
Yes.
And it's actually very cute. Elain gives him a little gift, and it's basically Excedrin powder in a bottle.
Yeah.
to mix into drinks because everybody gives them headaches.
So, and this is where the Azrael point of view chapters, which, if you guys are listening, I just learned about these recently because my Silver Flame that I read did not have
Neither did
these
mine.
bonus chapters, but there's a Barnes and Noble edition that has these bonus chapters. It has a Azrael point of view that goes over the gift he gives Elain and talks about Gwen. So I'm really interested in
So
reading those.
Gwen has not been introduced yet, though.
No,
So how does he already know Gwen?
I don't know. See, I haven't
Was he
read
part of her
these.
rescue?
I've got
Oh,
to
we need to
read
read
these.
these.
Yeah. So if you guys have read them and would like to discuss more details, drop us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts.
Yeah, let us know. I'm gonna have to see if I can look these chapters up and read them.
So I
Because I'm curious to know, like, is he into both? Is he into one more than the other? What is going on with that? Does he know that Moore is a lesbian? Like, has he figured it out? Well,
I love her, but
I
she's
shouldn't
not
call her
that
a
good of an
lesbian.
actress. Like, I think he would notice, like, I know he loves her and he's always going to pine for her because it's like that's like his first love, I think, in my
Mm.
opinion. And so he's going to have this special place for her in his heart. But I think deep down he knows that's never going to happen between the two of them. And I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't already know. As much as he watches her, how would he not know?
I mean, he's a spy master, right? Like, I kind of feel like everybody's like, ooh, or Morgan's like, ooh, don't tell Az, I'll tell him. And like by the time she comes out, he's gonna be like, duh.
Yes,
Like, bitch, I haven't pined over you in a while.
I mean,
I've been thinking about Elaine at night, kind of thing. Like,
yeah. But I mean, maybe it'll catch him off guard. Who knows? I don't know. She's not really in this book a whole lot, though. I feel like she's very minimal compared to
no,
the others.
no, there's very little talked about more in this book. She's kind of been off doing other stuff in terms of working on getting certain alliances set up because now
Mm.
they're worried about the mortal queens that are
Right.
left. And there's that one that had the adverse reflux and the effects from the cauldron
Hmm.
and is kind of out for blood now.
Right.
So he's kind of been working on, or she's been working on developing some alliances, which isn't really going well either. So she's kind of coming in a kind of bummed out mood. And more than anything, she just really wants to escape and enjoy the solstice also.
Yeah. Just have a happy moment for a second. And then we have Amryn, which I love Amryn. How she's just she's not liking the human body. Well, the Fey body.
No,
She has to pee and
peeing and
poop.
pooping is inconvenient.
You have to find a bathroom when you go out and about.
Yeah. And eating. She doesn't like eating food. She misses blood. The first time she had a human meal, she threw it up.
Yeah.
So she's really struggling on the sustenance. She's adjusting, but adjusting slowly. But Varian is helping a lot.
Yes. But I'm not surprised about the blood part though, because like when you read other, and I know you've read other vampire books, but like I just recently finished The Serpent and the Wings Knight, and he used to be the main male character used to be a cook before he was turned vampire. And so having that blood taste, like you lose your taste for other food. So for her to go back the other way, I can see how she's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't really want it.
Apparently blood is just much more flavorful than food or something. I don't know. But Amryn's having a hard time learning to adjust. She's getting there. She's a bit softer maybe, but only slightly. Like when
Yeah.
Nesta comes into Solstice, Elaine goes to take Nesta to get a drink, and Amryn from Varian's lap in the corner is like, don't give her alcohol, give her food. She's thin as a rail. Like she just immediately starts like, what the hell? When was the last time you ate? And Nesta, turns out that's the only person that can talk to her like that because she just turns and looks at Amber and goes, nice earrings.
Sometimes you need those friends though that just flat out say, well,
Yeah.
you're being a ratchet
Feyre's
bitch.
like,
You look
if I
like
had
hell.
said that to her, she would have ripped my throat out. Are you serious?
We did miss, though, in the Cassian part of them decorating for Winter Solstice. And I think that's my favorite part of the book, I
It's a
think.
pretty funny part. Yeah, you know what? It reminds me of like decorating for something with Camille when we were in college because that was
Mhm.
just not our jive. And what she describes that her and Cassian did 100% sounds like a Julia Camille decorating moment. He basically walks in with a bunch of like garland and tree branches and crap to decorate with, just drops them on the floor in front of Feyre and is like, let's open a bottle of wine. So he and Feyre get smashed and just start throwing branches around.
It's
And then in
earthy.
true as form, he walks in and just looks around and is like, this is terrible. And starts cleaning and fixing all of their horrible decorating.
It's so good, though.
And it just, to me, that's something that could really happen because that genuinely sounds like something Camille and I would have done in college.
So on to the gifts, though. Everybody kind of gets each other stuff, and some are small, some are big, some have lots of meaning, some are just because they love you.
Yeah,
um,
I think the most important one is what Feyre gives Rhys, and that is basically telling him she's ready to have a baby,
yeah.
which leads to, in my opinion, one of the hottest scenes in the series
Hmm.
when they're up in the cabin. One of my personal faves.
And then Rhys gives her the paint set you need to start your art
Yeah.
again.
Rhys gives her the paint set to start painting again. She ends up buying, well, she doesn't buy, she tries to buy Paulina's studio, the
Yes.
abandoned studio, but the family says no. Any money you want to give to us, please give to a charity to help starving artists and their families. You could just have this.
Yeah.
And so Feyre decides to open up a therapeutic art studio, basically, where she and Racina and the Weaver, who we do eventually learn her name, but open up the studio together and give several classes to help people deal with their traumas.
Which I
And
love.
some of them are pretty sad stuff that happened during the Hybern attack, and others are a boy pissed off because he didn't get a puppy for Christmas that he wanted.
Well, I mean, I love Feyre though. She loves through acts of service. And so if she can feel like
Yes.
she's contributing in some way, form, or fashion,
Mhm.
she's doing her part and that she's giving her love to others.
She is definitely an acts of service person. Absolutely. It's how she deals with her trauma and she wants to help people deal with theirs. And I love that about her. And maybe it's inspired by what her sisters have gone through on
Maybe.
top of it all. And
Hmm.
her sisters are not art people. You know, they find different ways to express themselves. Nesta ends up in Silver Flame. We'll find out that she loves to read and she loves to fight.
Right.
And then, you know, Elain, baking and gardening. Feyre, it's painting.
Right.
And I think that this book was a really good way to kind of tie up a lot of Feyre's storyline
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
There's still a big aspect to her storyline in Silver Flame, but the book focuses mainly on Nesta and Cassian's journey. And Feyre's part is a smaller part of it.
Right. Even though
So,
it can give you just as much emotional damage.
yeah, and again, very triggering for some. If you had a rough pregnancy, that's going to be a trigger warning with Silver Flame. Is there's a lot of hard stuff going on with Feyre's pregnancy, and some of it is kept from her. Yeah,
So Cassian gets a gift for Nesta, and he asks Feyre to help him pick something, but we never really find out what it is.
I don't think we find out until Silver Flame.
Yeah, like this,
And what it is it's a first edition book that he had a very hard time getting his hands on.
but in this book, it's like, okay, it's in a velvet box. You don't know what it is.
It's a very nicely wrapped gift, and he wants to give it to her, and he even says, like, I've got a gift for you, and she's like, keep it, I don't want it. Yeah, well, she says something, I can't remember exactly what. In her Nesta fashion, she hurts his feelings and walks off, and he gets mad and throws the box into the Cedra, which is
Yeah,
a river
yeah,
that runs through the city. So you kind of think, I remember reading the book the first time and being like, what the fuck did he give her?
yeah,
But you don't find out until Silver Flame what it was. But he does mention in Frost and Starlight that he took him a while to find it and it wasn't cheap.
Well, if it's a first edition, of course it wasn't.
Right. But he's pining so hard for Nesta and he's just so scared to tell her how he feels. I mean, at this point, I think how he feels is going to fall on deaf ears because she has to deal with her own shit first.
Yeah.
But
And he even
part
has
of
like
me
a
is like,
kind of
I wish
a
she would just tell her.
Well, he kind of almost has like a come to Jesus at the end, like when he's walking her back to her apartment
Yeah.
and she just doesn't want to hear it.
No.
And I think that hurts him even more because he's watching her just destruct herself.
Yeah, I think anybody who's been in a situation where you're watching someone basically slowly kill themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awful. That's so hard. Like, how do you deal with that?
It's not easy to. And but
No.
they have to figure that out for themselves. You
Hmm.
can't force them to go, to rehab. You can't force them to go to therapy.
Right.
You can't force them to change their mind. And the more you push on it, the worse they're going to get and the more they're going to push back on you. So, and it's a fine line of how
Right.
to be there, but not push them and to not give up on them.
Yeah, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves.
Yeah.
And at this point, she doesn't want to help herself. She wants to wallow, and it's not healthy.
And Moore's gifts.
She gets Feyre some slippers, and she gets Cassian she gets Az some like monogrammed hand towels or some towels or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she got oh no, boxer shorts.
Moore's gifts are practicality.
And there's a joke though. That everybody talks about how she's just a horrible gift giver, and like
Have some socks.
she doesn't really put a lot of thoughts into her gifts.
They're going to use the boxer shorts though, and I would use the slippers.
I mean, I guess, but she got Cassian boxer shorts to match the red negligee she told him to get her, even though they're not romantic or anything like that. She was like, "This is exactly what I want. It's on hold at the store. Just go get it." You know who Moore is when it comes to gifts? She is Rachel fucking Green.
Yeah, she is. 100%.
She is Rachel Green when it comes to gifts and gift giving. That's kind of all you get about her in this book.
Yeah, it's very minimal on her.
Need help running your business? Sometimes We Get You Media is your AI guru hub for everything. Design, content, marketing, brand strategy, meeting transcriptions, file organization, social media, you name it, AI can help. Stop juggling a dozen tasks. Streamline your entire operations in one place. Visit www.sometimeswegetyou.com. That's www.sometimeswegetyou.com. Or email info@sometimeswegetyou.com. Sometimes We Get You Media, AI-powered solutions for modern businesses.
All right, hot pickle cold take, guys. A Court of Frost and Starlight is just a filler and doesn't add to the series.
I can see that. It is mostly filler. It's like 200 pages of gift giving.
Yeah, but it also it goes over Moore's backstory, so you learn a little bit more of that. Even though she's not in the book, but you learn more about it. Like
she's not in the book that much, and it's not a ton. It's just a little bit. Like she talks, it's like one little chapter about her little home that she has that nobody else goes to. Like it's not a ton. I'm thinking Moore's story is obviously coming down the line.
Right.
Obviously, we're gonna get more soon on her. More on more soon. But they didn't really go into her a lot in terms of her backstory.
No, and I really want to know what the hell happened with her and Iris, and I feel like it's coming. It is coming, but I think this little splurb that they gave you in this book is gonna transpire into something more. So it's like your appetizer before you get the full story.
Right.
I do think it's kind of nice to see how everybody is after the war and how they can still be a family and still, but it also shows the destruction after the war. It shows how they still can come together and still celebrate even in hard times. So I don't know. Yes, it's a filler, but I think it's good character setup too.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Maybe if I was just wanting the story, I might skip it on a reread, but I don't mind picking it up around Christmas.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes. I find like the Christmas novellas and I'll pick those up.
Yeah. And I feel like we've
stories out of my favorite series.
Yes, agreed. So the Inner Circle's treatment of Nesta is justified. Yes or no? I feel like we've touched on this already, and I feel like they're walking on a fine line.
Absolutely. I don't think that she's being treated badly by them at all. It's vice versa. I think they are willing and waiting with open arms, but she's just being such a ratchet bitch, they've given up, or at least a lot of them have. Obviously, her sisters haven't, and Cassian hasn't. But I think Az is over her. I think Mora is over her. I think Amren's starting to get over her. Like, people are starting to
Amber was the
kind
only one
of,
hanging on.
I mean, at this point, Amren was the one who was still saying, let her work through her shit. And at one point, Feyre goes to visit Amren and she
Mhm.
finds out that Nesta sees Amren and will go do puzzles and stuff with her.
Yeah.
And Feyre's a little jealous. She's like, so she'll talk to you, but she won't talk to me.
Yeah.
And Amren says, I'm not going to betray her trust. I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell you what we talk about.
Which is a good friend.
Very, very good friend. They really, like I said, they don't treat her that bad. And even in Silver Flame, they may not be best friends with her because of the way she's constantly hurting her sisters and the people that love her the most,
Mm-hmm.
but they never treat her badly.
No.
She's never like flogged and thrown in a cell or anything like that. They
No.
say, we're cutting you off from alcohol and you're going to train and gain your strength back and do some work in the library and do a little bit of good in the world.
Right.
We're done watching you kill yourself and we're done paying for you to kill yourself.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't think that that's a thing to justify personally.
No. And then lastly, Tamlin. Does he deserve what happened to him?
I don't feel like anybody deserves
No.
that. But when you bring karma on yourself, you bring karma on yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard to say you want to see someone suffer. It's hard to say somebody deserves to feel alone and
Yeah.
sad and without anybody.
Mhm.
But I also am like, I don't know what you were expecting, bro.
He did redeem himself somewhat. He had a +3 by the end of ACO War.
He did. He did. We gave him a few points. He redeemed himself a bit. But after the war and he goes home to I base nothing, he just slowly starts to lose it. And you start to see that in this book.
Well,
He's
and this is
genuinely,
where if
losing touch with reality.
if you were going to bring yourself back up and after you've made terrible decisions, maybe go to these courts and try to mend those bonds, not just wallow in your grief.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I almost want to be like, so you got grief and you're having problems. That's what Feyre was going through, and you didn't care at this point.
Maybe find someone to fuck away your trauma.
Ianthe's dead.
Like, I don't know. It's just, again, it's especially when I know how much Tamlin represents to some women. It's for me, it's hard to be like,
Yeah.
poor Tamlin. But at the same time, as somebody who considers themselves to be somebody who does not wish ill will on people,
Exactly.
I have a hard time being like, well, you deserve that. You know, like
Mhm.
when I'm subbing, if a kid is acting like an ass and running around a classroom and I'm like, stop, sit down, stop, sit down, stop, sit down. And then they finally trip and hit the ground, I will look at them and be like, you had that coming. I'm not
You-
proud of it. I'm not happy that you did it, but
Yeah.
I told you to sit down multiple times.
Yeah.
Now, granted, as long as they're not hurt, I mean, I'm saying
Right,
that.
no.
If they're hurt, I'm going to help them and then I'm going to be like, this is why we don't
Well,
run.
that's how you and I both parent too. Like
But
our kids can do some stupid shit and we'll tell them not to. And if they're really hurt, of course, like we're going to console them and love them. But
right.
if like they're running outside with no shoes on and then they trip and skin their toe, I told you to put your shoes on before you went outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll absolutely be like, are you cold? I told you to bring a jacket, which is almost always
Yes.
the conversation I end up having with the boys, specifically my oldest.
Yeah.
Garrett doesn't fight me on the jacket, but saying the word hoodie or jacket to Gunner is like telling him to put acid on his skin sometimes. And then we'll get to a baseball game or something, and we have had a very cool spring here. And then he's like, I'm cold. Will you share your blanket with me?
Yeah.
And I do.
Of course.
But as I'm sharing it, I'm like, this is why I told you to bring your jacket.
Well, see, my children are hippie children that'll walk outside with no shoes on. And that's why I brought that example, because I can't tell you how many Band-Aid toes I have had to deal with because they ran outside and then busted their ass in the cul-de-sac and then come back in and be like, my toes can. Well, put some damn shoes on.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids aren't too bad about the shoes. It's the jackets. But yeah, I totally feel you on that. I absolutely feel you on that.
So, Tamlin, I am sorry you are in your grief, but try to find yourself to fuck away your trauma and maybe go bring a basket of baked goods to the courts and say, man, I'm sorry, I fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe just try to do something and not depend on the help you no longer have.
Right.
It's short, but it's important. It's the cozy, bittersweet breather between wars, between the big climaxes, between these big books. It's a nice little, holiday filler
It is.
for those of us who need a little cheer sometimes.
And if you guys haven't celebrated winter solstice, you should try. It's just for a fun activity to do on winter solstice. Write something that you want to go away into the universe. And then on another slip of paper, write something you want to come into your life. And so that's your darkness and your light that you want to see in the next coming year and through the next season. Burn your darkness first and then burn your light. I don't know. Makes me feel better. I know I'm kind of hippy dippy with it, but I love doing
I
that.
love
My
it.
kids
I'm all
do
for
it
it.
with me. Try it out.
I'm all for it. At the best, it works. At the worst, you just look like an asshole burning paper in the yard.
There you go.
I mean, what's it going to hurt? Like that episode, it's one of my favorite episodes of Sex and the City where Miranda gets Brady baptized. And she doesn't really want to, but it's really important to Steve and his mom, the Catholics, that he gets baptized. And he finally just looks at her and goes, okay, you don't believe, that's fine. It's just a little bit of water on the baby's head and some cake.
Exactly. That's exactly baptism.
And that's exactly how she ends up looking at it. And she's like, did you say cake? I'm in. Like, oh, there's cake? Cool. But yeah, that's kind of the way to look at it, I think.
All right, Brine Babes, we want to hear from you. Is A Court of Frost and Starlight necessary or skippable?
Do you feel bad for Tamlin after the spring court scene?
Team Nesta or Team Inner Circle and how they handle her?
What's your favorite gift exchange moment?
And do you know Az's gift to Elain in the bonus chapters?
Seriously, DM us at Pickle Party Pod. We want to know.
I gotta find those chapters.
Yeah, let us know.
Elain, is she actually fine or just hiding it?
And what's your winter solstice vibe?
DM us at Pickle Party Pod. And next time, Jules, tell us what's coming.
I'm so excited, guys. We're doing it. We're diving into the Wallflower series by Lisa Kleypas. I cannot wait to talk about these books because these books are what turned me on to Lisa many, many years ago. I think these books were handed to me in like 2012. And I have been obsessed ever since. All of her stuff is great, but these books are just the perfect way to jump into her world. And I'm so excited to share them with you and why I love all four of these women so much.
And I have to say, I've read 2 so far. I'm about to start the 3rd one, and they're a lot of fun to read. And they're pretty quick. Like, they're good
They're
books, but
easy
quick.
reads.
Yeah.
They're easy reads. I've read them all multiple times, and every time they get better and better. They really do. Like, I find myself smiling and giggling at different parts. It's like when I watch Friends for the 100th time. There's always an episode that hits me differently in a different stage in life.
Yeah.
These books have grown with me in the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to share them with you, babes. I cannot wait.
So until next time, stay brined.
And remember, sometimes the cozy books hit the hardest, to the longest night and the hope that light will return.